Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you again for another Film Fanatic show. It is 11. That's funny. On a Wednesday morning. Another beautiful morning. Another pretty hot day. It's been pretty hot. It feels like the temperature is getting hotter and hotter as we speak. So yeah, it's been an awesome summer. So yesterday I have a bunch of time off. I have this week off from school and stuff, so I have a little bit more time. And I went to Bull Moose yesterday, and it's an amazing place. I went to the Bull Moose in Waterville. They have this new setup there with their movie and CD selection. The odd thing was is they it seems like they have less CDs for sale there. It seemed like the racks are getting smaller. And the movie selection, the regular horror selection itself, they it well honestly it kind of sucks right now. They have like their regular horror section, like they redid the whole place basically. And their horror selection for Blu-rays, I think is kind of awful in a lot of ways. It used to be amazing. They have good movies, but they're all like kind of like your standard popular, movies. They don't really have the selection as far as they used to have a primetime selection of exploitation horror movies and just exploitation movies, like amazing, super low budget movies, all kinds of stuff. And but on the flip side, they have these new labels, or this new area of the shop where it's labeled boutique. The boutique section. They have a 4K section and then they have a Blu-ray selection, and that is kind of amazing. I will say it has. They definitely have quite a few like independent, low budget exploitation movies. It's kind of odd though too. It's not like they'll have movies like say Affliction next to say a Dario Argento movie. Paul Schrader directed Affliction, which is an amazing movie, but it's not an exploitation movie. So they have, but it's kind of considered a little bit of an art house film, or like American Gigolo. They'll have that, next to some Dario Argento movies or Jess Franco movies. It's kind of odd, but anyway, they have some amazing movies there, and so I still think the one in Bangor is the best because they have more in the realm of horror, in the horror genre, or just a more variety, much more of a variety of exploitation movies. But the Waterville one is pretty awesome, and I did score. I got some pretty killer movies, and I'm super excited. So today is a video on the first movie I watched, and that movie is the one and only American Ninja. I'm super excited. I was in Bull Moose 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I made some really great purchases then. But then I saw this movie in the rack, and I kind of kicked myself for not buying it. And so I made it a point to buy this. They had American Ninja and the second one that came out shortly after. They had that. I was almost going to buy the second one, but I'll buy that next because this movie was a regular staple of my childhood. This came out in 1985, and it is a movie that was, I don't know, just so fun. I used to watch this movie all the time. I used to get it on VHS. It used to be on cable. It was directed by Furstenberg, Sam Furstenberg, and this was a Canon production, a Canon film. Canon was There's a really great special features kind of documentary about this movie and Canon on this Blu-ray, and I started watching the movie kind of late, but I'm probably halfway through the documentary special features, and it's awesome. I'm gonna finish it tonight, and it's amazing. But Canon, it really goes in depth with Michael. with the director. There's a lot of great interviews with the cast and everything, but there's a really great interview with Sam Furstenberg, and he talks a lot about Canon and the kind of the evolution of that company and how it started. The founders, they were a movie company in the '80s, late '70s, but early '80s, pretty much the entire decade of the '80s. But they released a series of these like super cheesy, ridiculous ninja movies. That's the only way to put it, and a few like other action movies. But Canon at one point was a fairly big company, but they made these like super low budget, really bad, but super fun and ridiculous movies. And American Ninja was one of them. They kind of introduced Sho Kusugi to the West. They introduced there was the Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja, Ninja 3, The Domination, the Sho Kusugi. Amazing movies. They also put out a bunch of the American Ninja movies. There was a bunch of other spin off movies. And, just they're just terrible, but just so bad and but so amazing. And this movie is just so utterly ridiculous. Like it's unbelievable. But I have to say, I feel like I almost enjoy this even more now. It stars Michael Dudikoff, who was kind of an action star for these movies and during that time period in the '80s. This came out in '85. I mean, just unbelievable. The I have a few Canon movies. I want to collect. I want to get all of them. They had a few other films, but and I need to get them. But these movies were, as a kid, I got exposed to like say Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween, the Friday 13th movies, and then I got introduced to Dario Gento. This is all horror related, but and then I got into Lucio Fulci. House by the Cemetery was a movie I used to see a lot as a kid, and then other than horror movies, I was obsessed with these movies, all of these movies that Canon was putting out. My favorite, probably the one that I've seen the most and I own, it's probably my favorite, is Ninja 3: The Domination. That's one of the most incredible movies. I think it's the best movie they put out, but it's completely and utterly ridiculous. This, but also, American Ninja was another movie that I used to watch all the time, and I was obsessed with this movie as a kid. So it was a combination of the real low budget horror exploitation movies, and then these like super low budget, you know, really bad action movies put out by Canon, and they're just amazing. And it's amazing how, again, it's like it's so terrible, and in like almost every conceivable way, and yet it's completely fucking amazing and so fun. Like so fun. The one thing I forgot about watch when I watched this, and I watched this last night. For what it's worth, there is so much action in this movie. Like it's literally nonstop. Like literally from like the first, you know, 5 minutes in, there's like a continual barrage of all of these action sequences and chase scenes and hand to hand combat. And they're ridiculous and cheesy, but it is definitely an action filled ride. It's way more exciting than I remember it being as a kid. And I think even though again it's definitely the case of where it's so bad it's so good that it's good, or it's so bad it's terrific. Um, it's delivers. This film really delivers when it comes to kind of the action. Like it really is. It's I've been into a lot of lately. I've been trying to buy, and I've been buying a few kind of low budget exploitation action movies, and this is definitely one of them. And just it's just great. It's so great. I'm definitely gonna buy more. I definitely gonna buy the sequel, and again, this is like it's so dated. It's so dated because it's it's like the epitome of the year 1985. But again, it's one of those things. I feel like because it's so bad and just like you know in left field that it works. A lot of films don't. A lot of films like just take themselves too seriously, and maybe it was held back by that particular time or that particular period, and it doesn't really age that well. It's clearly the filmmakers took the project so seriously that it's not allowed. It can't be, I don't know, poked at and made fun of a little bit. But this movie is, and that's, I think, why it's the case of like it's so terrible, but it's awesome and fascinating, and I kind of want to watch it again, or I do want to watch it again, and I will. But amazing. I love this movie. I'm super psyched. I bought it. The transfer of this on Blu-ray is fucking awesome. To be honest, like it's really great. It's got a slip cover here. Yeah, it's a beautiful package. And I just started watching kind of late last night. I'm probably into about 30 minutes of it. It's a pretty long documentary about the making of American Ninja and about the history of canon, and it's great. It's really great. It's all new interviews with the cast and awesome, totally badass. I definitely recommend this. So this is Jason Dean, and we will see you next time. Peace.